today's video, we will explore the hidden history of these flame giants named Djaradin. We have collected all the hidden clues as to their origins and created two distinct origin theories. Today we will cover them both and provide evidence for each theory. Ultimately, the decision will be yours. Which do you believe holds more truth? So come, take a seat by the fire. The Djaradin are a race of fearsome giant hunter-gatherers located on the Dragon Isles. From an age before the mortal races wrestled control, and long before the land was sundered, they have slept, locked away from the passage of time. History only speaks of them as the perfect dragon killers, but as we will see, this was not always the case. Let's begin with theory number 1. What strikes most people first is the appearance. Large, blue-grey, almost stone-like appearance looks very Titan-made. They look like a more agile version of the fire giants we saw in Northrend. Since the Dragon Isles was a major Titan facility, could the Keeper Tier be the Djaradin's progenitor? The first place to look is tracing the Djaradins back to the heart of their civilization. A series of caves carved into the cliffs on the southern edge of the Waking Shores. It is these very cliffs that we can find a record of major historical events, in the form of a series of cave paintings. These cave paintings can be found scattered around their homes. They show the birth of the 5 aspects as they assumed their seat of power in Valdrakken. Tia mentioned in one of the letters that we found when we explored the hidden lore books of Uldaman that he had an idea on how to deal with the problem of bringing the proto-dragons in line. Since the timeline seems to line up, could this mean that Tia's strategy to bring an end to the conflict was to engineer a species perfectly suited to hunting the proto-dragons, infusing them with primordial fire in order to empower them to go forth and hunt? That even as time has moved forward and the curse of flesh has taken them, the instinct to hunt is still coursing through their bloodline. To lend more weight to this, we see the next painting. Here, they seem to be going through the process of empowerment. They are sat in a pool eerily similar to the infusion chamber in Tyrhold, or Uldurus as it was initially named. They emerge and are sent forth to fight and conquer. Once the ancient war between dragon and proto-dragon was over, they were left as a population control measure for the proto-dragons that remained, ensuring that they could never again muster the numbers to threaten the Titan-controlled dragons. When you hear it like that, all together, it sounds convincing, lining up with how many of the other species on Azeroth were created. However, there are some holes in this story. If they were Titan creations, then surely the aspects would know of them. Instead, Alexstrasza, during one of the quest chains, refers to them as being ancient enemies of all dragonkind. This is more of a side theory alongside this one. There have been fire giants that became the ancient enemies of the dragons that we have seen before. During the Winter Storm War, fire giants armed and fought with Titan-made Vrykul until being struck by the curse of flesh. It is entirely possible that some of the Winterscorn forces made it to the Dragon Isles before succumbing to the curse of flesh completely. It would explain their hatred for the dragons, considering the rest of their forces were placed into a death-like sleep by them. This leads us to theory number 2. This one begins by taking us back to the waking shore. What if these giants were the original natives of the isle? We know that life sprang up wherever the spirit-infused waters would coalesce, and we know that the Isles was one such area before being co-opted by Tia. These cave-dwelling tribes would have lived peacefully in their habitat until one day the arrival of Tia and the aspects who laid claim to the island. First, they build Valdrakken and Uldurus, and from there begin to claim other seats of power. It just so happened that right above the giant's ancestral home lies Nel'Thuzan, one of the strongholds of the Black Flight. As with many other indigenous populations, they would have attempted to defend their hunting grounds, and as you can imagine, the black dragons would not have taken kindly to their hunting practices. It is not clear who struck first, but only that the giants were severely outmatched. In defeat, the tribe turned to their shaman leaders, and in an act of desperation they called to the elements for aid. Something, however, answered their call and bid them to come deep below the surface. Down in the sweltering caves they found the answer they so desperately needed: the primal, raging element of fire. Giving themselves over to the flame gave them increased size, increased strength, and resistance to the breath attacks from the dragons. They would use this newfound mastery over flame and lava to forge new weapons, ones perfect for hunting their enemies. Then they came back to the surface with a vengeance and a newfound fiery aggression. They would claim the lives of many dragons and reclaim their ancestral hunting grounds. While they would not claim complete victory, the constant harassment gave the need to build many of the fortifications we see in the surrounding area. Once the flame had taken them, they could not let it go. Like all power, it came at a price. They are now bound to this fire, the relentless rage that comes with it, and the thrill of the hunt. It mars their bodies as well as their minds. So much so that the Kalashi tribe's first thought upon waking was war. What does everyone else believe? Do you side with the first theory of their titanic origins? Maybe you believe they are natural creatures, turning to the fire in the desperation brought about by the invaders. Maybe it's something else altogether. Either way, the Djaradin are fearsome opponents, and I personally love them. They fit so well into the island lost in time vibe. I do wonder what everyone else's theories are. We started a vote on the Discord. You are more than welcome to have your say there. And feel free to come back anytime.